this is for all of the complaints and the bemoaning by the press too. I mean, I didn't watch it. I had no idea that it was going on. Like, I think I knew a couple of people who, like, in the back of my head, I was aware were going to this or going to something around this. But I honestly, it's beyond me not caring about it going on. And I remember back in the days where the whole hashtag nerd prom started, and I found that also sort of ridiculous as well. I mean, God, the things I've had to live through. But someone texted me after the fact and was like, "You should watch the thing." And I thought, I thought it was pretty funny. But this, I guess, this joke is the most poignant. And I could tell you, every single conversation, not every single, but the vast majority of conversations that I have had with people who I haven't seen in a while are the first thing they say to me is like, how's it going? It's going. Trump's got to be good for business. And Trump is good for business in this business. Mike Cernovich was better, but the
son of cock.
Yes, but I mean, there is not a day that goes by where I wouldn't and haven't wished for no Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton there, and having some type of like small bore argument about the best way to implement antitrust policy, or some small bore argument, or even big bore argument about like, does this fix of Obamacare go far enough, or should we jettison the whole private market, or should we, should it be a 10-year horizon? Whatever the argument would have been.
There might have been more. I think there still would have been some more like, hey, I don't know if Sheryl Sandberg should be put in charge of the nation's schools. There would be that type of stuff too.
Exactly. But it would all be presumably from the center.
Sure. It'd be a center and versus left fight. Left.
Yes, it would be a continuation of the Obama years, but without having to argue against a charismatic, somewhat of that charisma. You could keep it grounded on policy grounds. And I think she would have started to the left of him on many issues. Maybe not so much like foreign policy, but whatnot. But this, I think, really, really stings the people who are in attendance here, because many, not all, but many, the majority of political correspondents, of people who work in news, don't care. They just don't have a deep investment in policy. They just don't care. They're offended by Trump in that he's disgusting, and he's disgusting to every, in the same way that my 5-year-old son is like, ugh. But beyond that, they don't care. In the end, it's just public option, no public option, Medicare for all, no Medicare for all. I mean, to the extent that they do care, they just don't want it to be too hippie-ish. And so this really stung. And I think absent this joke, we wouldn't even be talking about Michelle Wolf. There'd be a couple, Seb Gorka would be out there going, look, how dare you say this about Sanders? But beyond that, but here's the joke that I think really is giving criticism legs. And of course, this is never referenced by any of the correspondents. Never.
There's a lot of print media here. There's a ton of you guys, but I'm not going to go after print media tonight because it's illegal to attack an endangered species by newspapers. There's a ton of news right now. A lot is going on, and we have all these 24-hour news networks, and we could be covering everything, but instead we're covering like 3 topics. Every hour it's Trump, Russia, Hillary, and a panel of 4 people that remind you why you don't go home for Thanksgiving. Milk comes from nuts now, all because of the gays. You guys are obsessed with Trump. Did you used to date him? because you pretend like you hate him, but I think you love him. I think what no one in this room wants to admit is that Trump has helped all of you. He couldn't sell steaks or vodka or water or college.
Pause
or
it. Hold on
ties.
1 second. Let's just go back, and I want you to just listen to the crowd. Go back just like 10, 20 seconds.
Start
Listen
to
to the
not
crowd.
enjoy.
It's like the bottom falls out when she says Trump has helped all of you. It is, you can feel like the huge pit that just drops in everybody's stomach in the room. Go ahead.
Milk comes from nuts now, all because of the gays. You guys are obsessed with Trump. Did you used to date him? Because you pretend like you hate him, but I think you love him. I think what no one in this room wants to admit is that Trump has helped all of you. He couldn't sell steaks or vodka or water or college or ties or Eric. But he has helped you. He's helped you sell your papers and your books and your TV. You helped create this monster, and now you're profiting off of him. And if you're going to profit off of Trump, you should at least give him some money because he doesn't have any. Trump.
There you go.
That was good, man. I didn't see that part.
Yeah. That's where like the bottom falls out and everyone's sphincter
was like,
gets a
I
I think that's what they're all actually mad at, and
That's-
why they've thrown her under the bus so
That's
quickly.
what I'm saying. The absence
cogent-
if you drop out that segment of the night, we hear very little about this, even though nobody's talking about that segment.
She had a cogent criticism of our rank opportunism and pathetic, grotesque symbiotic relationship with this madman. She made some gentle jokes about Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Let's pretend it was something
look-
else and have a big moral outrage.
And listen, I there's a certain amount of inevitability. I mean, I would not, obviously, I mean, I think people get a sense of it, but I would not choose the stories in the same way that cable news does. But there's a certain inevitability. People feel more threatened. They want to get more engaged. People get more engaged. They follow it. The media should be able to absorb, these individuals should be able to absorb that. That part is not the part that bothers them. It's the part that they know they are playing to it. They know they are going for the clickbait rather than sort of like staying within a certain lane and focusing on what's relevant.
How often was the CFPB brought up in the last month on cable news?
Right, of course,
or anything, for that matter.
and just like the myriad of things that happen that are important on a daily basis that Trump is actually doing, not nearly enough.